Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at Batman Arkham Knight, the Switch 1 version versus the Switch 2 running in backwards compatibility. And straight off the bat, frame rate is locked. I assume it's at 30, but it's so much smoother. Like playing the Batmobile bits on the Switch 1 it was borderline unplayable at times. It was so jerky, so much frame time skips, so much. I literally was like, I can't do this any more than like, you know, a minute or two. It was just awful. But yeah, just straight out of the box, Switch 2 backwards compatibility is flipping amazing. Like these games are working better without any patches or updates. It's just so much smoother. And just in combat as well, you can see it's smooth, you know, it's so much smoother. And I think the image quality is slightly better on the Switch 2. You know, I mean, again, the game is old, so it's not exactly going to be cutting edge unless they patch it. And it ran so badly on PC when it was launched, actually pulled it from the storefronts. But just playing it on Switch 2, like many other games I'm finding that I'm testing with backwards compatibility, are simply just running better straight out of the box. No patches, no nothing, you put them in and the hardware just takes care of the rest. So Batman Arkham Knight, quite impressive. Like if I'm playing it again, because it was kind of poor on the Switch anyway, if I'm going to play this again, because I played this game so many times across multiple platforms, I'll probably play it on the Switch 2. Not even probably, I will play it on the Switch 2 going forward, because the Switch version is, yeah, I can't. But yeah, just again, the game is fantastic. The Arkham trilogy is in my opinion the best superhero game ever made, best comic book game ever made. But yeah, Switch 2 backwards compatibility is shaping up to be even better than I'd imagined it would be, with just games working, you know, straight off the bat. And one of the things I noticed in this cutscene is that there's a lot of juddering in the Switch version. And you know, it's the same cutscene, but there just seems to be this judder that is present on the Switch version compared to the Switch 2. And again, it could just be the age of the game, it could just be the cutscene. I think the code for this game in general across all platforms was just terrible, but it's noticeably worse on the Switch version when compared to the Switch 2 version. And then, as I said, you know, it's at times hard to distinguish between the two, but I still think, and again, I think the image quality is slightly better, but the frame rate is smooth. That's the key thing, especially when you're in combat or gliding. That frame rate and Batmobile stages, those are the key bits, as I mentioned before. Those are key bits. So yeah, excellent game, looking fantastic on the Switch 2.
They said you were quick, but I never saw anyone take down three-armed guys like that. Unbelievable.
You're safe now. I'll send someone to pick you up.
Thank you. Hey, tell me you're gonna find Scarecrow. That son of a bitch needs to be stopped.
And in this last comparison, this is one of the Batmobile AR challenges, augmented reality challenges. And I think this is a good example of showing you the differences between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. Because it was so smooth and had no hiccups on the Switch 2 version, I actually finished the challenge quicker than I did on the Switch 1, because the Switch 1 was so jerky, and you know, by the time I'd like aim to try and hit one of these tank things, I just couldn't keep up with the frame pacing, the juddering, the stuttering, just the awkwardness. Switch 2 version, locked, crispy clean, smooth, fluid, had no problems. It actually allowed me to finish quicker, which I thought was quite interesting as well in comparisons. And also the load times are better on the Switch 2, obviously because of the hardware, but that's another benefit as well. The only difference I found is I did have one or two odd crashes on the Switch 2. That was the only negative I had running Batman Arkham Knight, as it crashed, I think, on a Batmobile stage, and it crashed at another stage where it just froze, and then I had to quit out of the game to get back in again. But outside of that, rock solid performance. running on backwards compatibility on Switch 2. So yeah, that's just another comparison video of Switch 1 versus Switch 2, playing Batman Arkham Knight on Switch 2 on backwards compatibility and Switch 2 and Switch 1 native. So hope you enjoyed this video. Smash that like button, subscribe if you're somebody new, leave a comment down below, and I will see you lovely people on the next video. Cheers.
Garage level 2 ready. Diagnostic test complete. Simulation complete.